Hello and welcome to Skeindeer Knits. My name is Ellie and I am a Norwegian living and knitting in London. Although I am currently in Norway, but we'll get back to that. You can find me as Skeindeer on Instagram and Ravelry, and of course the Ravelry group Skeindeer Knits, where all the knit-alongs are happening. There are two knit-alongs that are wrapping up right now. There is the Julekveld mystery knit-along that is no longer mystery but just a knit-along. So you can still hop on that. I think we are wrapping that one up at the end of the year. So you know you have it until and including the 31st of January, kind of UK Norway time, depending on when I close the thread, I suppose. And then there is of course the Järbo Mitten Club, which I'm gonna miss so much. Because okay, and I'm being ridiculous. Let's just talk adult way. This club has just kind of changed my life in a little bit. That's Ronja, by the way. She's a silly little dog. That mitten club I started in August. Do you mind? And it was gonna be, you know, this small little subscription club. You get a colorwork mitten pattern a month. Largely based on the Järbo mitten tradition and the mittens that they make in a village near where I'm from, so just kind of an hour drive away from here. And I kind of expected between maybe 20 to 100 people to take part, and I think we can all agree there's been quite a few more than that, so that's big. And so I just wanted to open this episode by saying thank you, because it's probably going to be the last episode of the year, and so the last episode where I'll be talking to you whilst doing this knit along, it will be wrapped up by the time that we see each other next, excluding Vlogmas of course, but that's kind of, you know, bonus content, not where I would make important announcements. So this is kind of, it's a bit sad. It does make me happy that it was such a huge success, and it's definitely something I aim to repeat next year, albeit with some changes, because that's interesting too. Doing the same thing all over again wouldn't be, you know, we need the mystery bit to it. We need something that will make things a bit unexpected. I think that's part of it, but I do want to take the best from this club and kind of try to do it, but do it in a bit different way, but so similar. So that will be wrapping up at New Year's as well. I'll be closing the thread and all that stuff. But what I want to say, anyone who's taking part in these knit-alongs, whether it's Julekveld or the Järbo Mitten Club, is that I will be going away. So I'm going back to London on the 8th of January, but on the 10th I'm going out again to New York. I know, I'm a mad woman. I was just in New York. For anyone who's been watching for a while, you will know, and obviously if you haven't been watching for a while, welcome regardless. Like, I'm just feel a bit rusty, you know. I don't usually record in this place, so yeah, I'm going to New York, so I'm going to be busy until I get back mid-January. But guess what, when I am back I will be marking exams. You guys knew how I was kind of, you know, a bit off during marking the essays of the very same module, so those exams. So I don't know when I will be announcing the winners, but it will be done. I just ask you to have some patience with me. It will happen. It will happen when I have time, when I have the proper mind space to do it, when I am able to send out the prizes. Like, it would be great if I am able to do this while I am here, and then I can send them out either from the UK when I'm there for one day, or send them out to the States when I'm there, because that would save me shipping prices, because that's a huge worry for me right now, like how I'm gonna afford all this stuff, because I want to draw multiple winners, because I have multiple prizes and it's been so many people taking part. So for me that's just an exciting opportunity to do that, but I have to think financially as well. Money. Just got really dark here. So let's get to the Norway part before we get into the knitting part. I'm in Norway. It is the 22nd of December as I'm recording this. And in case you don't know, the 21st of December is the darkest day of the year. So it probably doesn't surprise anyone that the 22nd of December is also pretty dark and dreary and rainy. Although we got snow today, I'm actually looking at a thin little layer of frosty snow outside. So we can only hope that there will be more for Christmas Eve. That's when Scandinavians do Christmas, in case you didn't know. The Christmas Day thing is not so hot here. It just occurred to me that we might benefit more from the light coming from the outside if I switch off the light on the inside. I'm not sure if that worked. Still need the kitchen light for some odd reason. I don't know why I left that on. This is kind of better, I guess, I suppose. It's really dark here now. You would think this was in the night. Well, this is what it's like in the night here in the summer. And so I'm not particularly keen on this dark time of year, but I am very keen on Christmas, so that's a good thing. I guess something else that you will be noticing is what I am wearing. I am wearing a Marius. That's another knit along that I'm doing, which reminds me that I should talk about that as well. That doesn't have a deadline. It doesn't wrap up anytime soon. I haven't decided on a deadline. Obviously, I will tell you in due time. I'm expecting it to be the end of March. That's my tentative, but I haven't announced that. It's not official. Just something for you to kind of base yourself on, because it's supposed to be a winter long knit along. And yeah, so this is my Marius. I did not knit this for the knit along. This is something I made back in 2012 to 2013. It was my first garment. The first garment I finished was the owl sweater, but I actually started this one before. This is the worst time to record. It is so dark. Everything's gonna look awful on this video. I'm sorry. I did not bring my studio lights here. And it is 10 to 11. It's nearly noon and it's just stupid dark. Anyway, let's get to the dress. This is like the most like going off topic episode you will see in a long time. But that's good because I'm light on content today, so there we are. This is the dress. Oh yes, it is the dress. Let's see it. Let's see it. My problem with this is that I added increases for the back, so it's got this little saggy, hangy thing here, which I don't like. But I think I've gained some weight since, so it actually fits a lot better now, which is good. But I don't like what I did here. This is like, it bothers me, okay? And this is a skirt, which is... Oh, I love the skirt. This skirt, I think I need to do something more with, because... I don't know how I managed to invent this, because I didn't really understand gauge at the time. I just kind of measured and did something kind of gauge-ish like. Yeah. I think we're getting into good Christmas spirit with the darkness of this video, with the blueness of my face. So we'll just go with it, yeah? Let's just go with it. And as I always do in my episode, it's expressing some gratitude. And there's always gratitude for how my Vlogmas episodes, videos I should say, have been received. But more than anything, the gratitude I have for how well my Järbo socks and Jurekväll mittens have been received. Now that the mystery is over with the mittens and I got that sock pattern out, the reception those patterns have had has been beyond my expectations. I say that every time, but it's really, truly true. Oh my god, you guys, thank you. Every time I just get more and more a vote of confidence that I should be doing this, which is so nice. So thank you. And yes, of course I have a Järbo mug. Of course I do. You can get these at the airport here, actually, I think. It is Mom's mug. We have one in red and blue. I need to get some of my own, but this is what I have for the time being. So first of all, I have some very exciting news that have literally nothing to do with me or this podcast. Well, it got something to do with me. It is Norwegian. It is my favorite and the only Norwegian knitting magazine for indie designers and yarny people in Norway, obviously. Let me show you this magazine. I am a pro. So this is Garn. I have the first 3 issues at home in London, but I also happen to have this issue, which is their 4th issue, which, wait for it, it's got my pattern in it. This is my first ever publication. And again, that belongs to the kind of thanking theme that we're doing here, is thanking you guys for receiving that pattern so well and saying things like, well, I don't read Norwegian, but I certainly will buy this magazine so I can knit your pattern, which is amazing. Thank you. And it's true, you can actually, because this is chart based. I mean, I do give the same kind of written instructions that I always do, but you already have written instructions from past knitting patterns of mine, and it's not like these are identical in any way, but if you can read the chart, which you can, there's no language in the chart, then you know what to do. So yeah. But related to that, and that is why I'm saying this has got nothing to do with me. Obviously I'm publishing this particular issue, but for future issues, if you are interested in having this in English, they've started a Kickstarter campaign for it. They told me last night, like, doing a Kickstarter, just FYI, and I'm like, you don't even need to persuade me to tell people about this. I'm literally not endorsed in any other way than having been kindly, almost kind of asked, but I more or less jumped ahead of them and said, I will be shouting this at the top of my voice. Yeah, just, I've linked to the Kickstarter below. It is in my list of links that I always include to my videos, and I have, you know, what do you call it, like, pledged? I don't know. I just did the highest amount that you could kind of pledge for. You get a digital copy of the English issue, I think. I don't really care what I get. I'm just like, yes, I am for this. And I think anyone who's been looking at this magazine every time I am holding it up, or say Lily of Nordic Stitches or Amelia of Arctic Yarns are holding it up and saying this is the best thing ever, and people have been thinking, you know, gee, I wish this was in English. It can happen. It just needs everyone's help. And I just, yeah, I don't know, it's up to you, you know, but I just hope we can make this happen if you can help this amazing magazine, this like one and only effort to make Norwegian knitting published on paper. You know, the modern Norwegian knitting, what people do today, not just the old kind of fashion stuff that I talk about a lot. But I'm just going to show you examples of what you can find in here just to give you an idea. You know, I've had lots of thoughts about endorsements and advertisements in podcasts lately, because I think we are in a bit of a murky area sometimes, because we're not, sometimes we are given stuff for free and asked to talk about it, but that's advertisement. You're not been paid, but you have been given something for free, and that is advertisement. So I just want to be very clear about that. Yes, I have been given this for free, but that was because it was published and not because I was going to talk about it. So I have not been given anything for free to talk about this. I've not been given anything. I am literally super happy to talk about this out of the genuine kind of excitement I have for this magazine. So here are some patterns you can get, and here's another pattern. Look at that cute dress. And I think the best thing about this magazine, if I'm going to be honest, I mean, one of the many awesome things is that they use real people, real adults, children, people of all shapes and sizes. And look, this is even one of the editors. Isn't that awesome? And yeah, it's just no, you know, if you're unhappy about the whole sort of supermodel situation with making people feel unhappy with not being that shape, you know, this magazine should probably make you very happy. And here as well, they're talking about lots of different Norwegian yarns, and they do this a lot in a lot of their issues. You're not like missing out here. It's not like they covered everything here, but they covered a lot of interesting stuff. See, and so you see these yarns. I mean, this is Marin's yarns. This is Marianne's yarns, this is Amelia's yarn, so this is Frederica's yarn. So this is Frederica Wool Up North, I think she calls it. Arctic yarns, Tante Ull, Mani's. All these yarns are awesome, you know, and she's also local to me, Kate Scene Design. So how about that? I just think this is awesome. Nobody else is doing this in Norway. Nobody's would be doing it as well as these guys anyway. So, and they talk about Norwegian books, which I find it's really hard to get a good grasp over, because in case you don't know, there are so many knitting books coming out in Norway, and it's nearly impossible to get a sense of which of the books are worth getting and not, because let's be honest, there's a lot of stuff that comes out that I don't think is worth publishing, but I guess there's a crowd for that as well. So what I love about this magazine is that they cover the new books and give you, you know, these are the good books that have come out now. And I can vouch for this. I mean, Krotekofter is right at the top of my Christmas wish list. This book by Maja Karlsson of Swedish Knitting, I love that book. This book, Sjal Nordfra, I bought in Oslo. It's a Danish shawl book. Amazing. I could go on and on, but I think you get the idea. There's an Arne and Carlos book here as well. They're doing everything I wish someone would have done ages ago, and it's about time, and it's so cool. So, guys, just the Kickstarter. I mean, it's okay if you don't have the funds, then you don't have to. I'm just saying, if you want this and you feel like you can support them, then please do. I think I'm done begging now, and let's move on. Now, I don't really have a new FO in this episode, but I have the FO from last episode and I have blocked it now, so I can show you what I said, that, you know, they were of different sizes before blocking, and now they are the same size. It's the uniquill mittens, you see? This is the one I hadn't blocked. I remember because I used a different shape blocker, so it looks a bit different now, which is a bit awkward. But yeah, they are now the same size. They weren't before. This one was way smaller. I could overlap them and you could see the other one through. And now you can't. Ha! So that's generally my rule of thumb. If you're wondering the details of it, just watch the previous episode. But my rule of thumb is to try these on as I knit them. If they just fit around my hands like this, then it's perfect, and then I can block them to give them a bit of positive ease, which is exactly what I want. And I think it's perfect for traditional Norwegian mittens, although, you know, obviously these are my pattern, but they are very much in that style and construction shape. And I think that's all I have to say. This is the mystery mitten that we did in December that will wrap up at New Year's. The pattern will obviously always be available in full. It's just that the knit along is over and the eligibility of prizes. And I also want to thank people for showing their interest in the Break the Rules KAL that I want to run in February, just because February is a short month and I want this to be a short KAL with no requirements for finishing, for size, anything. It can even be a whip, although I want you to be very careful about whips because I want you to focus on the point of this KAL. It's not about being eligible for prizes. I'm even considering whether we should have that, but probably should have some kind of, you know, incentive. So in case you don't know, the Break the Rules KAL, it might be a series of KALs that I'm doing, but for this particular round I want to have people choose the wrong weight on purpose, not altering the pattern necessarily, although you're free to, of course, there's no restrictions here, but I want you to just choose something that the pattern doesn't recommend. Just say, oh yeah, this is for sport weight, I'm gonna use lace, see what happens, you know. And I think it's an opportunity for people to explore the flexibility of woolen spun yarn that is non-superwash, that is sticky and can be used at a variety of weights. You know, a good example is the Knitting from the North book, where they used spindrift throughout at a huge array of gauges, and that is the kind of thing I want people to get into. So I think we'll talk more about that as February approaches, but I think definitely this will happen. But another knit along I want to talk about, I think this podcast is all about the knit alongs. I don't think there is any hiding it anymore. So the other knit along I want to talk about, of course, is the year-long mitt along. And guys, please don't call it the box of mittens, because that's just gonna make me cringe of having ripped up Kristin entirely. So let's call it the year-long mitt along, also because the rules are different. I want them to be color work mittens. I want the competition to be fair. I haven't excluded any weights, but I hope you guys will explore finer weights. I don't want to see someone taking part with 6 pairs of like Aran weight mittens, you know. I want the competition to be fair, but you're of course allowed to do like the odd pair of Aran. I don't know, just I don't want to put restrictions on people, but I also don't want people to find loopholes to make the competition easy. I don't think this is for a competition. I think it's for exploring colorwork mittens, and I think everybody is on board with that. I just wanted to say it just in case, because it seems like everything needs to be said sometimes, just to kind of guard myself a little bit. My voice just got very funny. And so the year-long mitt along will be starting when the other 2 KALs are wrapping up. So we're starting on the 1st of January and ending on the 31st of December next year. And yeah, the rules are 6 pairs of colorwork mittens made in that year. No whips allowed. You will be casting on after New Year's Eve. Yes? Good, very great. But I've had questions about fingerless mitts, and I'm like, yeah, of course, but then surely they would take less time. So the rule for fingerless is if they are otherwise equivalent to a mitten in terms of size. I don't want people to take shortcuts. That's my main concern. So obviously if it's a fingerless mitt that really just starts here and ends here, then no, it will not be eligible. If it is quite long down here or otherwise have something extravagant, maybe being convertible, maybe having just a crazy long cuff, something like that, that makes it size-wise an equal amount of work, then yes, it is of course eligible. Like the Yggdrasil mitts, they would be eligible. That 2x2 rib cuff takes a while. I remember. So yes, you are allowed to do fingerless, but I do want you to explore mittens. I think it will be a bit sad to see someone submitting just 6 pairs of fingerless mitts. You know, I want mittens, but yes, fingerless are eligible. Different weights are eligible. I want it to be open, but I also want people to stay focused. So hopefully we are just kind of at a mutual understanding of what I'm trying to make here. And I think we can get on to things I have been knitting since the last time we saw each other. I have been working a little bit on the Lady Marple cardigan. It's not a difference that you can see. I am literally just working up to the armhole now. I think this is the good length, a good length for what my body is. So you can see there the hip decreases coming up to here, and then waist increases up to here, up to the bust. So there's that. But this is what it looks like. I have raved about this pattern in previous episodes. I think I will spare you the rant. Let's just talk about this more when I've actually made some progress that we can see. But yeah, I'm loving this thing. It's gonna be so nice. It's probably not gonna be done for this Christmas, even though I was hoping for a red Christmas cardigan. That's fine. I got some other things that are more pressing. But I do want to talk about the yarn, because this is the Gilead yarn by something French, I think. So yeah, it's just the best yarn ever. It's not, I say that like I say that about every yarn. This is one of my favorite yarns. I have very, very, very few complaints about it. I think really I love everything about it. I just wished I could stick it with a bit more confidence. I am a bit scared of. I haven't tried. It might stick and be fine without sewing machine, but I think I will be sewing it before I cut it. It does seem a bit more slick than my preferred sticky yarns, but apart from that, it's perfect. It's soft, it's strong, it seems pill resistant. I love it. And yes, it started getting a bit less clouded outside now, which is a good thing. We got a bit more light. I have a hoe actually. I did finish this sock I think yesterday, and that is from the Santa's Workshop colorway by Critium Handmade. So yeah, I did a self-strapping sock again. Yeah, you know, I did the Time Traveler colorway by Felici. That became some rather tall socks. I'm showing you guys in a very cool way. We don't have much camera space because I have to sit so close to get any light. Sorry. My voice is getting all knackered. That's a bit too early. I'm getting out of practice, you guys. Need to do this more, she says, after having done Vlogmas for 22 days. Anyway, this is the sock. I think the color is so cool and so festive. I mean, really, it's just the green and the red that is festive, but I'm like getting gingerbread here and some kind of eggnog and snow and something minty here, and it's just, yeah, Christmas all the way. And Santa's Workshop, I think, is a very accurate name for this. And I want to talk about the heel. It doesn't look as cool as the Time Traveler heel for sure. I didn't try to make anything magic happen there, but I have made a German short row heel that doesn't have any holes, because I did the turns between the last and the first stitch of the heel stitches. So I worked those last. You may know that from other heel techniques, but that was pretty cool. That was a new kind of heel, although it's just a German short row of that. You only work on the heel side and it doesn't leave any holes, any gaps. It's pretty cool. Just kind of experimenting a little bit. This was cuffed down. The other socks were toe up. When it comes to short row heels, I have no preference for cuff down or toe up. Obviously toe up has the advantage of letting you use up all the yarn, which didn't happen with the Felici socks anyway. And cuff down has the advantage of letting me use the old Norwegian cast on, twisted German cast on, if you will. That's a good thing too. They're all pretty good. Just, yeah. But this is not the self-striping vanilla sock podcast, although it seems to be going in that direction. But yeah, ho, ho, ho. I am talking about all the whips very briefly because we will be seeing them again, because they're all kind of done-ish, but not quite. The other one is the Molly socks. I haven't shown you the Molly socks because I hadn't started them. Yes, I did. I had barely started them in the last episode, but I finished them technically. They're off the needles, they just need some sewing. Because this is the Molly socks from Tant Ultus. This is Tant Ultus' book. It is the best sock book that I know of. I'm saying that like it is. Yes, like books like Sock Architecture are obviously it's a bible for sock knitting, but as far as a sock pattern book goes, this is the best one. I made both of these. They are awesome, they're so cool. But this time I did the molly socks, which you can see picking up here. The color scheme I chose is slightly inspired by Pinneguddi's take on them. So they are purple on a very light grey, arguably white, with burgundy for the heel and toe and cuff. And the cuff is the thing that makes me not be able to present this as a FO just yet, because I'm supposed to fold it down and sew it on the inside to give it a kind of a peacoat finish like this. Yeah, and obviously it will look a lot nicer after blocking, so I need to block them. But there are 2 socks, believe it or not. I have finished a pair of socks, they're just not finished. So usually I would declare these finished, but given there is some serious like sewing to be done, I can't actually wear them yet, and if I can't wear them yet, they're not finished. Weaving in the ends is a bit so-and-so, but you know. And yes, no, I have not woven in all the ends of this dress yet, which I made when I was 23. This is just what this podcast is, you guys. I have another new project as well, and this one is proper new. You haven't seen this on the podcast. You may have seen it on the vlogmas, but yeah, no, we're gonna see it now. It is Julsockan by Maja Karlsson. Maja Karlsson is one of those, she's the author of one of the books that I showed you in Garn. And yeah, it is a mystery knit along that is pretty much done. I'm just behind. So I'm working on Q2 for one of the socks and haven't started the other sock yet. It is also related to some of my yarn haul. So yeah, but this is what I have. And I love this design. I love the red on the grey. This isn't Christmas for me. It's very much inspired by a kind of a Swedish Christmas scheme, color scheme. I love that. But the heel, but the leg, this is very abrupt for my taste. I'm not sure if this is what it looks like in the pattern. I'm just thinking because the pattern had me make lots of measurements on my calf, on my foot and length, and choose different sizes based on that, and it combines those sizes in a very elegant way. I love that. But I measured the widest part of my leg, but if I'm going to go by this is not going to go up to the widest part of my leg yet, and it's going to have a funny fit. It looks nice when I put them on, actually, it really does, but I think I want them to be taller, and I have enough yarn to make them taller. So I'm going to probably rip back up to this marker and do 2 rows between each decrease rather than just one, which I think is what the pattern told me to do. I'm not that good at reading Swedish patterns. It's not my first language at all. I was really good at Swedish when I was in kindergarten because I watched so many Astrid Lindgren films. I could talk at length about Astrid Lindgren. I think I might do that for this day's vlogmas because I just love her work, and just that woman is my idol. But that's a side point. It's probably where I got this color scheme preference from as well, but yeah. So I think we'll be ripping up to here just to redo the decreases with some more rows in between, so that I in the end can get to the ankle color work bit and do the foot, where it says Merry Christmas underneath the foot. So I better finish by Christmas, so it's going to be a bit annoying to wear in January, quite frankly. Although I guess not that many people are going to be looking under my feet. So yeah, I'll be talking a bit more about the yarn as we get into the acquisitions though. But before we get into that, there is a third mention of Swedish socks. You know, we covered the Tant Ultus books, we have covered Julsockan, but then there is the new Santa Lucia sock pattern by Anna Friberg, aka Yarnesty, and she asked me to do a giveaway, so I will be doing that. Link to that below. I am again not quite in the mind space of having decided the rules for this giveaway, so please read them carefully in the Ravelry group. Again, I've yet to decide whether to have photos or not, but I think if you are able to do photos, then that's always a good thing. But I will only leave the whole photo thing a obligatory thing if it's possible for every entry. Obviously last time I was like, well, a Christmas wish may not necessarily be represented on Ravelry, and then you're not able to add a photo, so obviously there's some leeway there. But yeah, I like photos. I think it's nice to have the giveaway threads be kind of a, you know, a gallery of sorts, a collection, a useful tool, if you will. So just read rules, whatever I end up deciding, future me, you know. So let's move on. But yeah, no, thank you, Anna, for letting me have this giveaway. and the pattern is great. It's color work, it's Scandinavian, it's got like, I love it. I want to make it maybe after New Year's. I don't think I have time to make it for Christmas, even though it's kind of a festive sock, but I think it will depend on your colors, you know. You don't have to make it in red, and then you can wear it all year round. So I think it's lovely, I think it's beautiful. And I know Anna, she didn't want to show me what they look like while she was asking me if I wanted to do the giveaway, but just went like, I think you're gonna like them, they're a bit your style. And I'm like, and it is, it totally is. So yeah, now I'm gonna wrap that up and get to another little bit before I get to the acquisitions. And that little bit is a little, it's not a Christmas present for me as such, because I am just not that wealthy, but I have a little bit of a God Jul discount code for you all. So I call the code God Jul. It's God Jul in one word, Godjul. It means Merry Christmas in Scandinavian. Although the word Jul actually comes from pre-Christian times. It's still the word that's synonymous, but it has a different origin. If you want to talk about like the origin of words, etymology, that word. Yeah, no, it actually comes from some Norse words that are alternative names for Odin. So we generally say Merry Odin, it turns out. Yeah, I didn't know that either. That's funny. Merry Odin. And now it's acquisitions time. Oh god, I'm a mad woman when it comes to yarn. And of course I made an order for Norway, as I knew I was coming here. And this is from a shop in Norway called Bittami. It's from Bitta Mikkelborg, and she's just insanely prolific designer in Norway. She makes pattern books every year. I don't know how she does it, how she's just one person with only 2 hands. But yeah, she has a web shop as well with yarn from Sweden. Turns out it's Järbo yarn, which is one of the biggest commercial yarns in Sweden. I've always been a bit skeptical to Järbo because I think their logo is hideous and looks cheap, and I thought they were then also very cheap. Turns out they got some pretty good quality yarn. I didn't know that. So this is the yarn I'm using for the julsocka. This is the skein I haven't cracked open just yet. I got 2 grey skeins and 1 red because that was apparently the amount that I needed. I'm not sure if I'm going to need 2 skeins of the grey, but we'll try. I mean, when I cast on the second sock while knitting it concurrently, it's nice to have an extra skein anyway. So it's not a complaint, it's just this smells like sheep. This really smells like sheep. It might be because this has been laying in the same bag with my other yarns, which is rustic yarn from Järbo, which again I had no idea that they did until I decided to knit the Mamelucker pattern by Maja Karlsson as well, because she works closely with Järbo, which is kind of when I realized maybe Järbo isn't that bad. Maja Karlsson is very much in my up my alley when it comes to, you know, Scandinavian knitting and color work and making it modern and that kind of thing. So when she works with them, it, you know, I'm willing to reconsider. And this yarn is wonderful. I'm just gonna look at one of them close up. Look at that. Look at that skein. It's not focusing, so you can't really see much, but there we are. Oh, this yarn is nice. It's actually quite soft. Maybe I've just been kind of made a bit robust to these things, but yeah. I mean, the way it's wound, it's going to be a nightmare to wind into a cake because it's just kind of folded over, really. The hank is not really been twisted the way we usually do, but it's just, oh god, it feels so nice. This is by far one of the least prickly rustic Scandinavian wools I've ever come across, but it doesn't seem to compromise on anything. I still think this should be, you know, perfect for color work. Granted, I didn't actually have color work plans for this. I want to make the Mamelucker shorts, the underpants that, you know, you can wear above your tights under your skirt, which is actually what I'm doing with this dress as well. I'm wearing an H&M short instead, or shorts if you will. I don't know why we call them shorts when they're just one. Anyway, so yeah, I just figured because I'm now using shorts under my dresses, I might as well have a woolly one. I will keep all my, you know, incubator and everything warm. So you know, the lady parts, the kidneys, everything. So I got a white one, a natural white, because I love my natural whites. You'll know this. It's so nice. So let's get some specifications out, specs as we say in a tech world. It's got 300 meters per 100 grams. It's 100% wool, and they're saying you can use any knitting needles from needle 3mm to 6mm to get either 27 stitch gauge or an 18 stitch gauge. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Let's say that you were to do a for the Break the Rules KAL, I mean, let's say if you were to do a sweater that recommends worsted weight yarn for an 18 stitch gauge sweater, you could probably use this. It will be very, very light. It will give a different fabric. You would probably have to work more rows, but you could. It's got the same gauge. It's just a completely different weight. So this is kind of my point. And just a tangent. Again, this is the episode of tangent, of like getting, just completely drifting off onto different topics. That's, yeah, my brain, you guys. Let's not even go there. I got another one of the light grays. I think this was the color I thought I was going to do the shorts with. So it's a very light color, and I would be a bit more comfortable with a darker color for that particular area of my body, but maybe I will. So this color I'd probably be more comfortable with, and it's beautiful and great and lovely. And the last color probably shouldn't surprise anyone. It is a lovely shade of red. Looks a bit funny now though, but yeah. So already we have a pretty significant amount of yarn added to the stash, and the other two that are in the project bag. And we're only getting started. I'm terrible, but it's Christmas, I'm allowed. Apparently I'm also allowed the rest of the year, but let's not even go there. The next thing I did was, of course, to go to Husfliden in Trondheim. Now, I've talked about Husfliden before. It is a chain of crafty folk art, folk costumes, yarn and so on shop in Norway. You will find it in every major city and a lot of villages as well. Like every town has one pretty much, and they are great. They will carry a variety of yarns and brands and companies, but the majority of them, I want to say all of them, carry Rauma yarn. It's the wall of Rauma. It is the most beautiful thing. I love Rauma yarn. It is my favorite company. Maybe, no, Hillesvåg is my favorite company, which they have started to do now. I didn't buy any Hillesvåg there. They only have sølje, which is their pelt wool, the fingering weight pelt wool, and vilje, which is their lamb's wool that is undyed, so it's just a natural white. And they do a lot of kits for patterns that are not really my thing. And I have a lot of sølje already. I love sølje, and I have a lot of vilje as well. So I just got a lot of Rauma yarn. Shall we just go through it all? This is gonna be messy, but yeah, this is what the podcast is for anyway, right? I got Finull. I got more Finull. This is my ultimate mitten yarn, in case you didn't know. I like it for garments as well, but it's definitely perfect for mittens and hats and not socks. But yeah, any handwear, I think it's great. But the thing that got me really excited ever since I was told this by the Isolde shop, that they have, well, Rauma have come up with more colors for the 2-ply high twist series, and that is Gammelserie. It is basically Finullgarn but with a higher twist, so you can see that. I mean, let's just do a comparison. So you can see here, this one has way more twist to it. There's more definition in each of the plies, whereas this was a bit sort of woolly and lofty. It's not a huge difference. I was kind of wondering why they did two different yarns, but they do. Everything turned red, my goodness. So I'm very excited that they come up with new colors, and I think these colors are just amazing. These were my favorites for sure. So you can just look at them. Oh, they're so good. So there'll be more mittens. There's just a lot of mitten yarn here. It's not even stash, you know. It's this is how a lot of people feel about their sock yarn. Sock yarn isn't stash. All the other stuff is stash. Sock yarn they can just have because they always knit socks. It's kind of how I feel about mitten yarn. Though, do I still need to buy that much of it though? But when in Norway, you know, we've seen this a lot. I make excuses for buying yarn when I'm in Norway. This is the 3-ply yarn. It's the yarn that I recommended using for the mitten club. And I bet you wonder, why am I buying more yarn? Am I doing more designs with this yarn? Am I making? I don't know. I don't know. Now, I'm not going to hold up all the yarns I bought because they're kind of neatly packed. But I want to show you that I got a bunch of these, which is which is a red Tasseladd skein. Now, Tasseladd is a rustic sock yarn, and I don't want to say DK to worsted weight. which is something I've just been intrigued with, and I love the feel of it, and I want to explore more rustic sock yarns, and most of them in Norway do come in heavier weights, so that's just kind of what I have to opt for. And it will be interesting to come up with some sock designs that have heavier weight yarn. So yeah, that's one thing I got in white as well, and I got it in grey, and I got several skeins of each of these because they're just not going to be enough for one pair of socks when I just have this few. So it's all sensible. And I got several of these as well, which is similar but from Sandnes. It's tresko, so I got a bunch of grey ones and a bunch of red ones, and they're quite similar. They have slightly more meters, but I want to say they are comparable, and rustic and sock yarn, have nylon. It's all I want. Actually forgot to mention that while I was in London, I did manage to buy one skein 2 days before going to Norway. Not sure what I was thinking, but I just felt very festive with all my self-striping Christmas yarns and everything, so I got this one from West Yorkshire Spinners. It looks stupid. It reminds me of like candy canes or something. It's kind of hideous, but in a lovely, awesome way, and I can't wait to have my feet look like this thing, because that's just a crazy idea. So that's gonna happen, maybe this Christmas, maybe the next one, maybe in the summer. I don't know. I'm not saying that I'm doing the whole like Christmas sock challenge that Amy's doing, because like 24 pairs of socks, like I struggle with getting 12 pairs of socks in general for this year. So, but it would be nice to have a couple of festive socks. Yeah. Now what more could I possibly have acquired beyond this? Well, rumors has it that there is a shop up in this area called Risvollan in Trondheim, which I've never been to because it's just not a suburb that I know anyone in, and I haven't lived there. So I've never actually taken the bus up there, but I did because someone told me there's a yarn shop there that I haven't been to, so of course I had to go. And more than that, they said there's Hillesvåg yarn, and I was kind of the impression that they had the odd skein, but no, there was actually a proper selection. And I had a chat with the lady who runs the shop, and she's like completely on the same level with me when it comes to yarn. And yeah, I just love that in the yarn shop, because there's so many times I come into a yarn shop in Norway and I see the shopkeeper be like, oh, so you want to make saddle mitten? Well, have this alpaca yarn, have this merino yarn. And I'm just like, I'm not gonna say anything, I'm not gonna say anything, I'm not gonna say you know. So that's just really good to see. Obviously people do choose the yarn that they want to use. I sometimes get the impression that people feel like I'm a bit of a yarn police, and they're like, oh yeah, no, I'm using this alpaca yarn, no, I'm not supposed to, but I kind of like what I'm getting from this. Awesome. You make your yarn decisions. If you know the pros and cons and you consider them, as long as it's an informed decision, I don't care. I think I just want people to make informed decisions. If they in the end choose to use a superwash silk wool merino cashmere blend for their colorwork mittens, then go right ahead. As long as you made an informed decision. I'm just letting people know about all the benefits of rustic yarns. If people end up choosing something else, then that's totally up to them, and they know what they're gonna get from it, and they are either totally okay with it or actually want it. That's fine. I'm just kind of annoyed when shopkeepers are giving misinformation and don't tell that. Yeah, no, you get the idea. I wasn't gonna go on to another tangent, so let's just look at the yarn that I bought. You will have seen all this yarn before. I just bought more of it because I know what yarn I like, and I just keep going back to them. So Fjord, you will have seen, I got the same colors that I'm working on right now actually, but that was from a sock kit, and I'm making the pattern in that kit. I now want to make a pattern of my own, so I'm gonna do that. But I honestly wish though that Rauma would come up with a slightly thinner take on their sock yarn, because Fjord is the thinnest one, I believe, although they have some reinforcement yarn, but that doesn't count. I want a 400 meter per 100 gram sock yarn from them. That is on Hillesvåg. If you're listening, if you're ever going to come up with a new yarn, that is the next yarn I want you guys to come up with, is a true fingering weight take on this. A 400 meter per 100 gram-ish strong nylon rustic wool blend. But I love Fjord. It's the closest thing I can get, and I got these amazing colors. It's going to be some nice socks sometimes. I bought a lot of yarn to design socks. That's kind of my New Year's resolution. What's gonna cover that more in the end. But yeah, that's my New Year's resolution, to get more into sock designs with color work, with different techniques, because at some point people will be running out of the need for mittens. It's a lot of fun to make mittens, but I don't expect everyone to be so into mittens as I am, that I don't even care that I have probably 20 pairs that I never use. So I think I want to stay ahead of my game and look to other accessories as well. I should probably look at hats as well, and it should be easier. It's just that I find hard hats a bit difficult. Yeah, I got some 50-gram skeins of Usk, and these are quite old because they got the old label. This is just a lovely marbled deep red, and this is kind of a sort of spice color. Pumpkin spice, anyone? I already did a pumpkin spice mitten pattern, so I'm gonna have to be a bit more inventive with this one. Mumble, mumble, mumble. Anyway, I got a nice charcoal black Usk. This one is beautiful. I can't believe I don't have it already. Maybe I do, but then I have another one. It's all good. And I thought that would go really well with this natural white Usk. Yes, I have some of that already, but I use white a lot. You don't really believe how much white and other neutrals you will be using when you knit color work, but it's really the color that you need the most. You know, it's the whites, the grays, the blacks that you combine with the other colors. So I have a bunch of white in my stash. It's not very exciting to buy, but I just know how useful this is for me. And hey, if you don't use it, you can dye it, she says, having never dyed anything. And in the end, I had to get this. Look at this. This is beautiful. This is just everything. I'm so glad that the daylight is back now. I'm sorry, I'm not going to re-record the old stuff because I don't have time. And there isn't enough daylight in the day this time of year here, so we're just going to have to roll with it. But yeah, this color is amazing. And I think I have this color. I know, I'm being ridiculous. No, maybe no, I don't. I have the burgundy shades. This is rose red. I don't have this. I should have bought plenty now. Maybe I'll go back. I don't have room in my suitcase. What am I saying? What am I saying? Now you would think I'd run out, but no, someone in Iceland, someone lovely in Iceland decided to be very generous and give me a Christmas present. So yeah, this is just a bit of a silly story because I just asked on Instagram if anyone knew that, whether anyone in Trondheim sold plötulopi, and then someone in Iceland was able to read that even though it was in Norwegian and kind of decided to be very generous with me. I haven't asked if I can like share a name or anything, so I'm just like out of common courtesy or respect or something, just being anonymous. Anyway, I got a huge parcel of things. First of all, I got this bag from this Icelandic yarn shop. I don't know if this kind of generosity had anything to do with this yarn shop. I thought I'd show you who they are just in case. Again, with a sort of murky area of endorsements sometimes that we are in here, so I just want to make it clear that this is something I did get for free. It was shipped from this yarn shop, but it might just have been an order made from them, not by them. And in this bag is a pile of shade cards, and you guys know how much I love my shade cards. So this is plötulopi, one of the colorways, and this is the others. Look at that color, look at that, look at it. Let's just all look at this color for a bit. Okay, let's move on to the other shade cards. There is Alafoss. This is their thickest yarn. Yeah, I had some Alafoss bronze actually, but it's been put on the shelf. We'll be doing it later. And I also got some Einband colors. Einband is their single ply thinnest yarn. It's really nice. It's quite hard though, so I've struggled with finding a project for it, but I really like it. Every time I see it, I'm just like, there needs to be something for this yarn. And then of course Let Lopi. This is their staple yarn. This is what all the Lopi sweaters are made of, pretty much. I mean, there's some Alafoss in there as well, but yeah. I got a shade card, and I don't know if I've ever told you, but one of the oldest to be knitted patterns I've had in my mental knitting queue is the Klukka dress. And I think I might have to get on that dress this year, because I get cold a lot, and getting a dress in Let Lopi I think will solve that issue. It's mainly a skirt that just has a bit of a tank top on top that just keeps it hanging up, really. I'm not that crazy to wear like full on Let Lopi because it's not scratch free yarn at all, but I think I need that skirt, and I might as well just have some straps for it, so I'll make a tank top and have it on top of a sweater. I think it's a great plan. Not an immediate thing I will do, but it's something I could use for sure. So I'm very happy to have these shade cards now, so thank you. Now you will notice that I haven't talked much about the Plötterloop yarn that I started up talking about, because of course she sent me Plötterloop, right? I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. First time I read that I was like, Plötterloopy. I don't think that's how you say it either. It means plate loopy or disc loopy, or basically disc yarn, and the reason being is that it comes in discs. This is how it comes. So you just pull the center, you knit from the center. I've just made a mess of this. I shouldn't be allowed to use yarn really. It's unspun, so you have to be very careful with it, but obviously if you break it, you just kind of put it lightly together. You don't even have to do the full-on spit splice. It just kind of melts together because it's unspun. And yeah, I have plans to do the rustic cardigan with this. I don't know if you remember, but I think it was early this year then there was a knit along for it between some podcasts. I'm not sure I remember which ones, so I'm gonna try not to cite them. Anyway, Patricia of Knitography made the best video on how all the things you need to be aware of when making that cardigan, so I will definitely be bringing up that video again and making sure I don't make any mistakes and I have some precautions. But oh, this yarn, look at that, it's in a disc. It's in a disc. My mom actually knew about this yarn because she used to make this wall hanging with it, which we have in the cabin. And it's just like, how can you knit with that? I will anyway. And there is a lot, they are stuck to each other. I'm not going to take them out of the bag, but I got a tower of Plötterloopy. What? In addition to this disc. How am I gonna get this to London? This is madness. It's just absolute madness. It will crinkle a bit, I apologize for that, but there's very little to be done about it. So you can see here, it is that very color that I was drooling over in the shade card, and this light pink that will go very well with it, as will this yellow, and then there's a shade of brown, and obviously the white and the black that I'll be using for the cardigan. Oh my god, thank you. I don't know what to do about all this. Like, I mean, there will be the cardigan and then I'll get to experiment. And I love Icelandic yarn. I haven't actually used it, which is ridiculous. I know so much about it and I've yet to actually do a project with it. Apologies if you can hear my fridge. We have a fridge here that we're pretty sure someone lives inside of it, because there's always someone trying to get out, it sounds like. It's been like this for years. It's kind of scary. So yeah. So yeah, just loopy yarn, you guys. I think maybe 2018 might be the year for me going a bit outside the whole Norway thing that I'm doing, because I love Norwegian yarns. That will never stop. But I will be going a bit beyond that, I think, and explore especially Swedish and Icelandic yarns, because if you don't know, I'm a bit of a Swedish file. Is that a thing? A Swedophile? I just love a lot of Swedish things, and just, yeah. I like Sweden. I mean, it's probably just because I'm a huge Astrid Lindgren fangirl and everything that just builds up around that. Just, yeah. So yeah, I think little loopy yarn and some Swedish knitting is what we're going to see in 2018. That and a lot of socks, and probably some more tuku wool and maybe some Danish yarns, and of course Norwegian. So I don't think we're looking at too many drastic changes exactly. So yeah, I think that's all I have for you this week. I will be talking about things that I am planning to make in 2018 and the stuff that I made in 2017 that I'm really happy about. But I think that belongs to a bonus episode, because this one's already gone on for quite some time. So, and I need some episodes to go up while I'm away and traveling and all that jazz. So I will catch you guys later. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't please don't forget the giveaway. Please don't forget the discount code. That will only be eligible until the end of Christmas Day. And I wish you will all have a lovely, lovely, I want to say holiday if you're doing a holiday, or winter if you're on the part of the planet that does winter, or whatever you do. I hope you'll have an amazing time with lots of knitting, of course. And I will catch you guys later. Bye.